evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Salotto Italiano at Casa Italiana di Las Vegas. Tonight, we have our guest speaker, Francesco Mazzini, who is a Business Development Director for Urbani Truffles.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes. That is correct.
Francesco is visiting us from Los Angeles, and he is going to share with us his love of truffles, I believe, right? How long have you been working for Urbani?
I've been working with this company for 12 years. I've known of truffles way before, because like any Italian who likes food, you know truffles, and now I am part of the team that brings this great magical element, to the United States. Our company is a very unique company in Italy because it started in 1854. So many generations ago. It's still owned by the same family, 6 generations down the line, and it's just it's very unique to find that in Italy today, because things have changed and things have become a little more industrialized. But truffle is still pretty much an ancient way. The way, if you consider the way truffle are found, they're still with a dog and a man up in the hills. So that has contributed to a very unique element. It's very romantic in a way, and people think that we do that differently today just because many years have gone since we started. But the core of the business is still the same. You have what we call, cavatori. Cavatori is the word of the man who goes out and finds the truffles, who is really a man in the hills with a dog, and they go out very early in the morning and they find truffles, and they bring it back to our company, and we prepare them, we wash them, and we ship them to everywhere in the world. We have about 68 subsidiaries, but America is our third most important market. We do 70% of the imports of fresh truffles to the United States.
Great.
So truffles are washed and everything is super quick because truffles turn. They're very expensive, so we want to make sure that we bring the top quality to the restaurants everywhere in the States, and especially in Vegas, as you all know, it's become one of the top places in the United States for food and experience. So we pack them. They get to Vegas. They had been really 48 hours old. So that's.
So Francesco, what do you think has made Urbani the world leader in truffle distribution?
I think it was really. We hear this a lot, but the vision of the owners. This is a man that. I wish one day everybody could come and see this company. This company is situated in this small little valley called Val Nerina. It's in this high mountains. There's a river running through, and the place where the company comes from is called Sant'Anatolia di Narco. Now this town is the size of a quarter of a block of Vegas. Okay? It's tiny, and it's on the hill, and there's this beautiful homes built on around these rocks, and the idea of a man or a group of guys from that region to think, hey, we're going to bring this to America. It's normal for us today to think in those terms because everything is. It's expanded markets. We have the terminology. We have the internet. We have all that. But back then, when the first flights, Pan America was coming, and they're thinking, we're going to put truffles on a plane and we send it to America.
They had a vision.
A major vision, especially because, as you will see, and most of you know, the truffle is very unique, and it's expensive. It's not like exporting pizza. Pizza. Everybody's gonna eat pizza,
Yes.
Sooner or later you try pizza, you're gonna eat it. But truffle, you're thinking, I'm gonna put all these resources, and back then they really had to travel with a person, bring the truffles with ice, make sure they were well handled. So that vision made this company incredibly
As a leader in this industry.
Nobody, when they started thinking in those terms, there was nobody around that would have said, hey, I'm gonna bring truffles to America.
And I believe also the quality of the product that you guys have.
We've been known the truffle world is a small world, but within that small world, we are the big guys, you know. So it's very unique, and because it's been around for so many years,
Yes.
the name, especially in Italy, in France, and it's very popular. It's becoming very popular in the United States too. So it's all good. It's, you know, Urbani is to truffles what Ferrari is to cars, you know, on a much smaller scale. But if you've had truffles many times, if you kind of connect with Urbani.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of great cars out there, but Ferrari is a Ferrari.
It's a
so it's the
Ferrari,
same thing with
exactly.
Urbani.
Yes.
Right? It's the same thing with Urbani. There's a lot of other truffles company, but you know, we have
So
that.
talking about truffles, and for us who don't know as much, if you can explain where and how truffles are found.
So truffles are it's a wild tuber. Think of a potato. Some people call it subterranean mushrooms. It's something that grows attached to the roots of certain trees, and it cannot be harvested. So the foragers go out with their dogs, and dogs cover certain areas, and they, with their incredible sense of smell, they find the truffles, and it's quite special to see the dogs working. The truffle dogs are the happiest dogs on the planet. You know, any dog lovers see a truffle dog. Imagine the job is to go out with the owner, the person they love the most, all day in the woods, running around and smelling things up, and then get a treat when they smell a particular thing.
Yes.
So what's best? You know,
Exactly.
the karma of those dogs is like, you know.
So no more pigs.
No more pigs. Pigs. It's a myth. It's a romantic idea, but it used to be pigs when truffles were more common, and a farmer had a piece of land, so he could kind of hold the pig out, and it would take a short walk to a little
Yes.
tree,
Area, yeah.
a little area, and then the pig was able to point it out. But today it's a more regulated business. You got to go up in the mountains, and so you can't really have a pig.
Is it true that pigs love truffles? That they actually eat the truffles? Or?
The pigs are a little harder to control than a dog. So when a pig finds it and smells it, gets a little crazy, and I've heard stories. It's a lot easier to put the hands in the mouth of your dog
Than
than
a pig.
in the hands of a pig, because pig
Of
doesn't
course.
have the sense. He's gonna fall. This is good hand, boom. and they, I'm sure you know, but pigs have incredibly strong jaws.
Yes, they
so
do.
that's one of the reasons it's really not a smart idea. So
Not
dogs,
with pigs.
and it's
Dogs.
much better to spend a day with a dog than with a pig. I mean,
Yeah. No.
all due respect,
with the
yeah,
pig,
all
yes.
due respect. But if I gotta walk around all day, it's easier to have a nice dog
Dog
with
better.
me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So that's
So now talking about the varieties of truffles. We know that there is the white, the black, but I know that also there are different type of black. So if you can explain to us each varieties and where do they come from, and yes, the characteristic as well.
so the as you all know, Italy is very tiny. It's a small country, but
And I believe we do have actually some samples
we do have
here
some,
of
black truffles.
black truffles.
This is
So here we are.
Burgundy truffles. So this is a variety of truffle that comes in October, in the fall. So some people call it the fall truffles. It's called Burgundy.
Yes, here
There you
we
go.
are, the truffle. You
Yeah.
can see.
So pretty much the earth produces truffles throughout the year, except for about April. It's the only month. Some truffles are more common than others, and the pricing is different. And if you know, Italy is such a small country, but it has a lot of mountains, and it's got a dorsal spine of mountains, the Apennini, which crosses the entire country all the way down to the boot, and then some mountains in Sicily as well, under the Etna and all that. So this area with the mountains is really a great environment for truffles to be found, especially the black and then the summer truffles, while the more prestigious, the white, the Magnatum Pico, that's more for, it's famous in Piedmont, in the town of Alba, where the truffles are
Yes.
really, they made a whole
There's a market and there's a festival,
yeah, exactly.
right?
It's
Yes.
a phenomenal area for that. The Alba, for those who don't know, it's the area where the Nebbiolo grapes are planted,
yes.
and hence the famous wine Barolo, Nebbiolo, Barbaresco. So it's in the truffle world, the pairing of those wines with the white truffles are supposed to be the
one
ideal,
of the best, the ideal pairings,
one.
yes.
So that because of the same region, the same earth, the same flavor, it's used to be a lot more. But so white truffles more in the north, a little bit of Tuscany, some in the Marche, black summer truffles throughout the territory above 800 meters, and then some in. We also collect a lot of truffles in France, and then we do some in Spain, depending on the seasons. And recently, in the past few years, we started bringing in winter truffles from Australia during the summer. When it's winter in Australia, we have the winter melanosporum that comes from there. So we kind of expanded the market. This particular market in Las Vegas has reacted extremely well to it.
And do you find the same characteristic, the same flavors?
It's amazing how good that is. The truffle, the winter truffle from Australia is really matching extremely well with the European product. It's just we extended the season because when it's winter here, it's some in Australia and vice versa. So
of course,
we
yes.
now have those truffles in July and August, which it would be unthinkable of
Exactly.
in Europe. Yeah.
Now, if you would describe the flavor of the truffles, and of course, I believe the black do not smell the same as the white.
Correct.
How would you describe them?
I get this.
That's a tough question,
Yes.
isn't it?
I get these questions all the time. It's almost like describe a
Actually, I'm
color,
gonna-
right? Describe a color. It's very hard to describe a color, I think. And also truffles have more than 4,000 chemical elements in it. So we all have a different sense of smell. What I pick might not be what you pick
Of course.
in your sense. So at any person, you can be at a table with 10 different people, and they all describe it in a different way.
Yes.
So it's one thing that it's there. It's the truffle it's very earthy. You can tell that it's something that connects you, really to the roots of a tree. Basically, the way it grows, a truffle grows attached to a root and sucks the element of vitamins and minerals from the roots of a tree. And according to the conditions and the amount of water and the temperature outside, it grows in a certain way. It's usually kind of lobed. You see it because it grows in between rocks and forces its way out. And but it's 90% water. There's so many chemicals. So all of us would have a different experience.
Yeah, some people said they can smell a little bit of garlic as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, is it oak tree only, or it's?
No, there's a lot of oaks, but a lot of other trees. It's a long list. But oaks are famous because they produce a little bit of what we call roselline. It's a white truffle that has a little bit of pink side to it, and it's bright pink. So much so that still happens, but when we started, a lot of chefs thought that we painted it. So you had to explain, why did you guys paint it pink? It's like, it's not painted. Why would we paint it? So, so if you happen to have a truffle, you see some pink.
It's definitely not painted.
It's fine.
It's natural.
It's
okay.
fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Now, what is the proper way of cooking truffle and how to serve them? Because obviously, I know that some truffles are not to be cooked, but if you can please explain the
Correct.
difference. Yes.
So the white truffles, which is the winter truffle, the season that we're in now, which is pretty much matches the big holiday season, hence, again, why it's so special. Basically, from the end of October to the end of December, it's the white Magnatum Pico. That is the most precious.
Yes.
As I was mentioning earlier, it could range from $2,500 to $3,500 a pound. So this truffle is extremely pungent. It's very forward. There's a lot of flavors, so you don't have to do anything with it. You got to think of just adding it to a dish that doesn't have other main elements. You don't want to disturb. You want to have that experience. So one of my favorite ways to do it, it's with a fettuccine, with just a little bit of butter and you shave the truffle on top.
On top, perfect.
Yeah.
Simple and yes.
Very simple. You let the truffles kind of open up the spores on the heat of the pasta, which you know, you're not cooking it. You're just having that, and that fills the, you know, your experience. Some people do the same with the risotto.
Yes.
A very simple risotto with Parmigiano, a little bit of Parmigiano. But even there with cheese, you kind of have to be.
Because it can be overwhelming for the truffle.
Cheese is also the first thing that fills your buds in your
Yes.
in your tongue. So if you put too much of it, it kind of levels everything out. So you can't really tell much about the truffle. So when people ask me, it's good to use a little bit of Parmigiano, but don't make it a burro and Parmigiano pasta.
Of course.
You know, a little bit, and then have it, because people tend to do that.
Yes.
Oh, I love burro and Parmigiano. Then they put the truffles on. They go like, yeah, these truffles are. Yeah. Of course, you have a half a pound of Parmigiano. And now you can put your shoe in it. If there's nothing. So that's that. We try to
Yes,
to-
you also have to
to
educate
teach people, educate them about that. So that's the white truffle. The black truffles, except the black winter, the Melanosporum, this in the summer, it's good to take a little heat. They enjoy to open up the spores, and it's different than just shaving it on top of something. You want to microplane it and kind of mix it with a little bit of butter so that the truffle opens up and gives you something back. A lot of the even chefs, they still make the same mistakes. They think they've seen the white truffle being shaved on something, so they think that that's a technique for every truffle, but it's not.
doesn't
So you
work.
don't shave this truffles on top of pasta because it won't give you what it's supposed to give you. So you gotta create that. You gotta give it the right venue, and then the truffle will give you a lot more. Like if you smell it now, it's not that much, but if you have the chance to microplane it and let it open up, put a little bit of hot oil with it, then it'll be great.
Now I know that sometimes you also do training to some chef to present new product and tell them how to prepare them and so that they enhance the flavors, right? Is that
Yes.
something that you offer to different restaurants?
We
or-
do it as much as we can because despite the popular beliefs, everybody needs to learn. I mean, it's
Of
not
course.
something that you know. Even if a chef has been doing one kind of truffles, it's good to know.
But I
a lot
guess
of
also for the staff that needs
For
to
the
be
staff
educated
especially.
and sell the dish.
Well, look, when you go to a table, and you know, we all sell something. Everybody sells something.
Of course.
But when you go to a table, and you have to convince somebody to try a plate for $130, if you don't have a story with it,
Yes, it's tough to sell.
it's a little hard.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you kind of have to. Now, if you are able to transfer the story in the right way, all of a sudden, $130, it looks like nothing.
Yes.
But if you go to the table,
It's an experience
it's
that
an
you're
experience.
selling,
But
yes.
sometimes you see servers and they go like, you know, we have truffles. It's very expensive. Would you have it? Would you order if you hear
No,
that?
I wouldn't.
No. I was like, okay, then I don't want
Just
it.
put me off the whole
Right?
place.
If
Exactly.
you go like, oh look, we have truffles, which is amazing, and
Yes.
it comes from Italy, the dogs are involved, it's 48 hours, blah blah blah. So people go, oh look, you know, I'm gonna try it. People who have had truffles before, they won't have any problem. There's two groups, you know, people who love truffles and people who hate truffles. For us, for a business, there's more people who like it than hate it.
Yes.
But because it's so particular, there's people who don't want it. They're like, okay, it's not for me. But those who like it, they know that that experience can only come from truffles. So they, again, it's not something you have every day. But
Of
like
course.
in Italy, it's you know, I grew up with my grandfather. He would put money aside for truffles to have 1 or 2 meals a year in the season. So it was a big thing.
Yes.
And you go to the market, which is another big difference from the Italian markets and American markets. Most of the people here, they buy truffles with their eyes. They look at it. So they look at the truffle and go like, oh, that's good. I'm like, okay. But in Italy, nobody buys the truffles like that.
You smell
They
it.
put it in their hands and they smell it. And nobody cares what a truffle looks like. But here it's become this, oh, this is good. This is bad. And so we have started changing the way we approach the market because of the visual
Yes.
need of this is good looking, this is bad looking. So we now we price it differently, which it should really be priced for the aroma because you eat that to add that particular flavor to your
Yes.
dish. So it doesn't
Yes.
really, once you shave it, doesn't matter what it looks
What
like.
looks like, exactly,
So,
exactly.
That's why.
So, on a personal note, how often do you get to enjoy truffles, and how do you incorporate them in your cooking? If you cook, that is. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, every Italian guy is a curse. Yeah, depending on the season. Let's put
Okay.
it this way: if it's a good season and we have a lot of product, I get to enjoy it more often. This particular season is kind of hard, so we don't have a lot. We don't. We try to sell or work with what we have. But one thing that I like to say, if you happen to do this and to buy truffles, do it once, but buy a good amount and really enjoy it. Put it, it's tough in some. Few restaurants get it, and it's best to pay for it and have the full experience
Yes.
than to pay a little bit and not have the full experience, because that's for us, it's a problem. When a chef wants to save money, it's also saving on the final experience. I always tell, when I teach the class, I always tell the servers and the restaurant owners, I said, look, people don't get upset for the money they spend. They get upset if what they get is bad. Like I can get a slice of pizza for $3. If it's not good, I'm upset. You're not thinking it's only $3. You're thinking, I bought for $3 something that was supposed to taste like this and it's not. So I'm upset.
Yes.
But if you spend money for an experience that you remember, you go like, you know what?
It was
I had a
worth
risotto with truffles. It was $130.
And it was worth
but
it,
I
yes.
thought about it for 3 days. It was great.
Yes.
It was
exactly.
great. So the psychology there is very important.
Yes.
So when everything is relative. Yes, it is expensive because with $130 there's a lot of grocery. I'm not saying, but if you have the experience, just have it. Have a good
Enjoy,
glass of
yes.
wine. Put as much as you can on that plate. And
It's
just,
a decadent dinner.
yeah,
Perfect.
there's nothing,
Nothing like
politically correct in that dish. So.
Now, what is your favorite truffle dish?
I like the fettuccine that I told you. I
Fettuccine,
also like it with the eggs in the morning because the eggs the protein of the eggs combine very well with the protein of truffles. So if you make some eggs and you shave it in the morning, it's a very good segue. If you had a good truffle dinner the night before, you save a little piece in the morning. So you kind of carry that experience. You have it in your mouth, and I like that.
Now, you mentioned saving the truffles. A question that a lot of people have is, how do you keep truffles fresh? For the consumer, not the chef, obviously, who knows, but the consumer who buys the truffle. How do you keep it fresh? And how long does it last?
Truffle, it should get to you that it still has a few days, 5-6 days of life.
Okay.
A good way to keep it is in arborio rice, and then put it in the fridge.
Okay.
So you sit it in the rice. The rice absorbs all the humidity, and so truffle, it's kind of like a mushroom, it releases a lot of humidity. So if it sits around its own humidity, it spoils quicker. The risotto keeps it dry. It's also it has an absorption rate very high, so you lose a lot of weight of the truffles. But if you use the risotto to make a truffle risotto, then it's you maximizing the experience. You have the flavor in it, and then you shave what's left on it. It's really a good way to do it.
So, for those of you who have not tasted truffle, how would you describe the experience? And what are they missing out? What do you think they're missing out on?
They're definitely missing out an experience, because again, it's not a flavor that you can find in any other way. It's funny because our mouth really it doesn't recognize a lot of flavors. There's only few. But truffles is outside of that scale. It's totally out. So when you have truffles, you know that that's something different that you haven't had before. That's why some people fall in love with it, or some people go like,
just hate it. No,
never again.
Not for me.
Yes. But again, it's an earthy, it's a full on. It's almost like, when you drink a good wine, the right way to drink it is to smell it first.
Yes.
When that's still in your nose, you drink it. So you combine this kind of sensation. The truffle will be a little bit of the same. It's like you want to smell it,
and enjoy that, and then eat some of it, and then you have this incredible explosion of taste in your mouth that it's quite something.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, a totally different subject on a.
At your own
because
risk.
No, this is a personal question. Being Italian, if you were to identify yourself with something that is Italian, it could be an Italian brand or an Italian food, an Italian car, what would you be?
A cannoli.
You also have to explain why now. That was the second part of the question.
That was a joke. That was a joke. Well, I was born in Rome, so born in the city of Rome, and by generational Romans, so I really connect with the Roman culture and desire for enjoying life. You know, many cities in Italy have different history. Rome has, of course, a lot of ancient history, but also the modern history. It's a city where people used to go to enjoy life and relax and eat good food. So I connect to the Roman spirit a lot. You know, that's
So
it.
Rome as a city.
Rome is my place.
Is a city.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Francesco, for being part of Salotto Italiano. We've enjoyed
You're
your
welcome.
being here and explaining us about the truffles, and we're looking forward to taste some.
Okay.
I know that we have so many truffle products, and Urbani has a lot of truffle products available. If you want to just mention where are available and how the consumer can get them.
Yeah, other than the restaurants, we are at Siena Deli. We have a lot of our line is there, and it's actually you will find different sauces and different ways to get used to truffles, kind of get introduced to it, and then that will be like the first step, and then you
Yes.
get into the fresh and try it. Pretty soon, we also have a lot of products in Whole Foods. And there's going to be a major store opening in Vegas in 2018, Italy.
Yes.
Which will carry.
We're looking forward to that. Yes.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, and they're fabulous. They do great work with everything Italian, but
Yes.
they represent us extremely well, and
Yes.
we also do fresh truffles to them. So it's an opportunity for consumers to get a hand of what's usually only available in restaurants. So that's what you guys are looking for, and we'll do a lot of events in Italy as well. So
Excellent.
so good.
Well, thank you so much again,
My pleasure.
and thank you for Salotto Italiano for being here with us.